interested in is the Kane connection. You know, we had a chance to remember Frank Ruhlman, and there was the Hyle Russells and the Eddie Kisco, and we had a chance to talk to Eddie.
Did you?
So we interviewed Eddie.
Just lately?
Just in the last couple of weeks.
Good. I was going to try to get him up here.
Yeah, but that worked out. That worked out well. And so there's just always this sort of mystique from the guys up in the Bust-I, New York, of this Kane, Pennsylvania group, and here you all are. We're in the middle of it today, and just sort of getting some impressions, Jerry. From first of all, was your interest in racing, was that a family interest, or were you the first guy?
Hung around Hyle Russell's place.
Did you?
Down at his station, yeah. And I never went to the track that much with him, but helped him down at the station. I went and hauled one car home for him. I'd worked for Pennsboro station over here. Took his record and went down and hauled one car home. Back then, you just got a car, gutted it out, you know.
Was Hyle Russell? Talk to me about him, because we really don't know much about him.
Right.
Born in born in Kansas, I guess.
He was. I didn't realize that.
Yeah. I'll just read a little bit that came from these programs, and if you, by the way, if you find this type of program,
hang on,
and you happen to have up at the top where it says late models, and it says 63 or 64, call us immediately. There is a unbelievable missing years. Randy has collected everything from 56 to 62. We're talking everything. Okay. We have everything from 65 forward. In 63 and 64, for reasons we can't answer.
Huh.
We have found nothing, not 1 week's program.
I'll be darned.
So it's someplace, either they didn't do it, which I find hard to believe, but if you happen to see this type of program, and up here it says 63 or 64, Randy will drop what he's doing and come down immediately.
You know who had a lot of them gigs? It was Denny Johnson. He went Stateline every night. I don't know if he went that far back.
I don't know if he went that far back.
Yeah, that's right. I don't know. Yeah, he was younger than us.
No, he's older than me.
Oh, that's right. He's younger than me. You're not as old as me. He had stacks of books out, and he passed away. His sister may have them. I'll check with her.
Well, this is a serious quest. You have 2 serious quests. One was that, and the other is looking for any movies of Stateline Speedway during sort of that time period. We found a couple small ones, but we know people.
There wasn't too many camcorders then, was it?
No camcorders, but it was just the good old movie cameras, and you had the 8mm film. So as you're talking and among your friends, you might get lucky. Wait, little Hyle Russell here. Hyle Russell was born in Winfield, Kansas. He moved his family to Kane as a boy and has lived there ever since the time including time out for service in the Army. He served as a battalion motor sergeant for 21 months in Camp Atterbury. His wife, Jean, is originally from Ludlow.
Ludlow, right.
And counting a recent addition, they had 4 children. Hyle started driving the Old Sportsman Division at Dickey-Bend Speedway in '46. While driving in that class, Hyle competed all through western Pennsylvania from Butler to Erie. His car owner during that period was Bud Rose, another Kane resident.
Yeah.
Let's stop here for a second. What's Bud Rose mean?
They had a shop uptown, radio shop. Remember Rose Brothers? And they worked down this part of the old garage on Avenelli sponsored Hudson. Remember, for the Rose Brothers, and Joe Avenelli worked on it downstairs here in this old part of the garage. Yeah, and on the Hudson way back.
What got Bud into racing? Was that?
I don't know really. I mean, like I say, he had a shop uptown or service radios and sold radios way back, serviced them. Rose Brothers. He had a Norm Rose, I think, with his brother. They were in the business. Yeah, they had it together. It was Rose Brothers, We service what we sell, they always said. I remember that logo.
It says here in the biography, in 1955, Hyle switched to the late model division and has seen no reason to leave it. It was while driving for Bud Rose at Dickey-Bend Speedway that Hyle was involved in his worst pileup. He rolled his car completely 4 times on the west turn. His car was completely demolished, and although he escaped serious injury, he was shaken badly enough so that he dropped out of competition for the balance of the year. The story he likes to tell, however, concerns the time he rolled the number off the number 3 turn on the now defunct Stateline Speedway during a 100-lapper, returned to the track and finished 10th. Heil then connected with a guy named Frank Ruhlman. Was that part of your world? Did Heil talk much about Frank?
Yeah, he did. Frank was, he drove for him, like you say, He was the guy that talked about lighting up a car. Do you remember years way back, and everybody else was making them heavier. He was taking the undercoat off. Someone said, I think you were telling me that, Gabe. Yeah, they were taking making them lighter. Everybody else was building them heavy and strong.
Yeah.
He was ahead of his time probably there, 'cause he had some good cars, didn't he? They always had good cars, Roman.
In the best ones.
Yeah, they were the ones that won most, other than Snarzy.
Yeah. What do you remember about Heil Russell?
Just hanging around the garage with him, Yeah, he's a nice guy. Quiet, awful quiet. Yeah, real quiet. He just, he was just thin-built guy. He was, he wasn't a big. Some guys fool you, race car drivers, Like Eddie. Who'd ever think Eddie? Eddie was real. We'd be working on a car. Eddie'd be feeling everything, checking the spark plug wires, and we used to kind of laugh about it, but it paid off a lot of times. He'd be a little fidgety, make sure the plug wires are on. Yeah. Remember that, Gabe? Leave it alone.
Did Heil and Eddie, were they, other than both being from Kane, did they have a relationship?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, they worked together,
They both drove for Frank at the same time.
Right.
Yeah, right. They called Eddie the Candy Man. Remember, he made candy.
Candy.
Yeah, his nickname.
How did Heil get hooked up with Frank initially? Do you have any idea? Heil being from Kane, and Frank being up in Youngsville area.
Yeah, that is kind. I never thought of that. I don't know how that come about.
And then for Frank to also hire another guy from Kane.
Yeah, the two of them, right?
Frank just looked for good drivers. He wanted to drive them.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Frank wasn't a driver. He was a builder. Frank was the Stateline, what Junior Johnson was the NASCAR.
Yeah, really.
No doubt about it. He never got the credit for what he could do to the car.
Yeah, like I say, he was thinking.
So far ahead of everybody.
Yeah, he was thinking ahead.
He had his family when he built that 56. Lee and I go up, and he always helped Lee and I out. Lee was a good friend to him. We were down there, had shock nuts, cut them in half with a hacksaw, cutting shock nuts in half, cut the weight down.
Lighten them up, yeah.
We had a half a nut on the car. Don't use washers, they just add weight.
Yeah. No one else thought about that. Like I say, everybody else would build them heavier, make them strong.
He's crawling under there with a putty knife and a torch, scraping every bit of undercoat and everything you find on the car.
Well, we did that with our car. Remember, we put it in the bucket and weigh it. What we tore off. See how much we.
He told us one time, boys, look at this. He said he took it in his garage, that old garage you see in that picture. Had 3 buckets, 5-gallon buckets full of stuff he took off.
Adds up. You wouldn't.
Almost probably 75 pounds a piece.
Yeah, junk he took off.
So how did you get hanging around Heil's and next?
A little bit, yeah. And I bought that coupe off a guy, and I was going to try it out. Buckwheat Beckwith. I don't know if you remember hearing about buckwheat.
No, great.
He didn't run that much. He tried to run a straight 8 like Emery did, and it never worked out real good for him. Yeah, buckwheat. Yeah, I bought a coupe off him. I was up there one night with him. He says, "Take it out, take it out," and I was thinking about getting into it. So I took it out and got in the wreck happened ahead of me, and I smacked the brakes to stop, and here's 3-wheel brakes and put me around, and then the guy nailed me, put the front wheel up in the air about this high. I told Buckwheat, I said, I don't want that. You're buying it, you bought it. So I dragged it home and set it in the backyard. I got a picture of it setting up. The front wheel's about this high up in the air. We got another frame put under it, but I never run real regular, just when you could, or had time to do it.
What time frame did you start racing up at Stateline?
Told you not to ask me dates.
Roughly, was Heil racing at the time, or was it?
No, it was after that. Yeah, I'm trying to think when it was, because we just raced that coupe for a little bit. Right. I fixed it and run it a little bit, and really crashed it bad the last time. Finished it off.
It had to be about 63 or 64.
Yeah, right.
We had that
mid-60s.
Old Willie's and Lee said he had to stop for you because he was laying in the middle of the track.
Yeah.
During that time period, this was called the sportsman's class, wasn't it? Was that what
yeah.
you were doing?
No, I think they call it the
Wasn't it Sportsman?
They called them hooligans for a while, remember?
Well, that was the old stands, though, wasn't it?
They didn't have a sedan. They had two classes.
Oh, is that right?
Coupes and late models. They only had two classes.
That's right.
Jockeys.
Yeah.
Call them jockeys. Then they went to hooligan. Then they went. I think they call it.
I'm looking at the 65, but they call them sportsmen, I guess. New car and sports.
Then they started calling them sportsmen. They were jockeys for a while. They started calling them sportsmen.
Did during that time period, you're a young kid driving a coupe, and you're looking at the late model guys, and they're sort of saying, "Gee, I wonder if the day might be that I could race that." Who were the big guys that were driving at the time you were into sportsmen? Who were the guys you were looking up to?
Bobby Snars, you know, them guys.
Yeah.
Blackmore.
Yeah.
My buddy always told me, just watch what Snars does, you know, and do what he does. That's all you got to do. That sounds easy. Yeah. Which it wasn't. Looked like everybody left home up and let him go, you know.
So he was the big dog in that time.
Oh yeah, Bobby.
What about Squirt Johns?
Squirt, he was before Mike, you know. Okay. I never raced against him. I'd heard of him and that.
Yeah.
He was the guy who made the statement, the quickest way is the shortest way.
Right.
He was right on the bottom all the time, just down on the bottom. I always heard he made that statement, you know, it's the quickest way is the shortest way.
Probably easier said than done.
Yeah, you're right, yeah. As long as it'll stay down. Of course, they drove different, you know. It's like today, you know, the late models, they fly in there and jam the brakes on and get right back on the gas. We had to throw it and get back on the gas, and I think it was prettier racing myself, though. It was easier.
Well, I think the crowd enjoyed it more when you.
Yeah. The last guy to try to run that way was Tom Dill, I remember, up Stateline. Everybody else was starting to come in, you know, good brakes, you know, and lightened up flywheels and everything. They'd stop and then go. But he'd swear Tom was going to clean them all up out there practicing, you know. But he'd get, you know, on the outside throwing the rooster tails and look at them guys that come in, boom, 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 eat them right up. You know.
Let's talk about Tom Dill. What was his reputation as a driver?
Oh, he said he carried a gun.
Be careful.
There's only one man scarier, was 39, Johnny Whitehead. He'd look over at you and Is
that right?
I don't think he had any teeth or something. He looked pretty scary, you know. He'd intimidate you. Johnny Whitehead, yeah. 39, yeah.
Well, it's interesting. You know, I'm talking about Tom Dill. We've asked all the drivers one question. You know, if you were on the last lap and you were leading and it was just one guy behind you, who's the guy you wouldn't want to have behind you? And the answer
Come up.
Tom Dill.
Tom Dill, yeah. I seen Tom up to the auction here, I think about this time last year.
Well, we had a chance to interview Tom, and
did you?
He smiled and enjoyed the answer to that question.
Yeah.
Why was that? Well, you know, was Tom just an
Intimidator or something? Like the Intimidator, maybe, yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eddie Kisco, how well did you know him during this time period?
About like Heil, you know. He was down at this station a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Eddie had a real bad wreck in 50 Ford. I remember it rolled it over real bad someplace, and they had it across the street here. Remember, Guy? Showing it. There was a gas station across the street. It was around the holiday, and they had a sign on there warning people this could happen if you drink and drive, or something like that. I can't
Is that
remember.
right?
Yeah, because it was all rolled up in the ball, you know.
Well, that's interesting. And did you, as you were driving again in the sportsman's class, did you ever kind of talk to, whether it be to Eddie, saying, "Gee, how can you make my car better?" Did you rely on him at all?
Not really. No. He was more into the late model stuff, you know.
Was there conversation around here in Kane on the two guys, Russell and Kisco, about their abilities? Was it a conversation during the week?
Yeah, they had quite a few fans, I think. You know, they used to. Denny and all them guys hung around the station. They were up there all, you know, pretty regular. Denny Johnson and them guys that hung around his Esso station.
Right.
Yeah.
You know a guy named Gil Lathrop?
Oh yeah, Gil. He knows him real well. He didn't run that much, did he, Gil?
Yeah, he was pretty good. He
was
drove
good,
for
but
Bud Rose at one time.
yeah, he did. Yeah. Yeah, he run at Bradford too, I think, didn't he? Quite a bit.
I think you're right.
Or they run more at Bradford than any place. He's mentor, wasn't he, a little bit in Boy Scouts? Didn't he do a lot in Boy Scouts?
Oh, yeah, he was good with kids.
Real good with kids. And
Gil was
took you camping, you said, and all that?
We had a junior 4-H wildlife club, we had a junior conservation club, 2 clubs under the Fish and Game Club, local club. Gil was in charge of all that. He took us kids camping out in the woods all the time.
Is he still alive, Guy? Is Gil alive?
No.
A couple years ago, I think.
Yeah.
He had a hard life toward the end.
Yeah, I think he got into drinking pretty good.
He was a good guy. He did credit for what he did for kids in that around time.
He had a daughter that got shot. Went she up to in a bar in Kane, remember? And yeah, he had a tough life at the end there.
Now, how long did you race at Stateline?
Good question. Well, we run that Buick 72.
Right.
We couldn't, like I say, couldn't keep it. Then we bought an Ed Howe car. Remember, we took it up Stateline, and it was a kit car, one of the first kit cars they ever had.
Right.
Who was the guy? One of the owners come down the pits, and we just had a roof on it in the body. You know, there was no trunk.
He gave us more fits than anybody.
Oh, what's his name? Leonard, yeah. And he come down, he looked at the car, we didn't have no window post, just had the roof on the roll bars, and there was no metal pieces going up. He was excited about it. Then he opened the trunk up, he really got excited. What in the world, look at there. No trunk inside. And back then they wanted you to have a full trunk and all that. And Fuzzy Maynard said, yeah, we left the jack and spare tire home too in the trunk. They let us run it, but they said no more. So we already run down, we went down Clearfield and run it, huh?
About what year was that, Jerry?
70, it had to be in 72, 70. It was a new Skylark back then. Bob Pokler, Jacobus Pokler, I'd worked for him way back, and he sponsored the car. It was something different, a Buick. Rich Miller, he ran a Buick.
Miller had a Buick.
He's about as bad as we were. He was either in the wall or...
So Leonard actually told you don't bring it back?
Yeah. Yeah, and then that's when we went to... where'd we go? Clearfield. We went down Clearfield.
We brought it back, though. We put a couple little metal strips on it.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we did.
We never did put a trunk in. I think we were the first one up there to cut the trunk out of the floor in the back.
Yeah, they had to put spring leads. Remember, you guys, because you couldn't cut the fenders out. You know, as soon as you got hit, the fenders are in the wheels. So they take main spring leaf and put, so when they hit they wouldn't cave the fender in, you know. But they had a good idea in a way, though. They wanted to keep them looking stock, you know, instead of cutting the things out. But when they kept going with bigger tires, they had to, you know, let them do some changing on them. But yeah, you had to run the grill and everything, remember? We turned that Buick into a Buick Apollo. So you could still run a Buick, remember, and put a Buick grill in it, Apollo. The same as a Nova, Buick Apollo.
Put a Pontiac grill in it, they didn't know the difference.
Yeah, it was a Pontiac instead of a Buick. What they call that Buick? Buick Apollo, yeah, Buick Apollo. They were the same, all the same cars. That was a good idea they had too, though. They kept trying to make cars, just like the late models now, you know, it's sort of hard to recognize them. That's always like ASA racing. They kept their cars bodies so you could tell what they were, you know. Now, even NASCAR, look at NASCAR, you can't, it's hard to tell what those cars are. They look like those bumper cars. I said, remember you used to sell around park?
Yeah, sure.
Bang, bang, boom, boom. But they're safer.
Curious, Kane, Pennsylvania is not next door to Boston, New York, and there were other tracks around here. Why did you go to Stateline? What was the draw there?
Go to the races, you know. There wasn't much else going on.
Was the purse a little greater there? Do you remember?
Yeah, we never worried about that much over
So you were driving for the fun of it?
Yeah, right. Yeah, just didn't even run every week really much, you know, when we could.
How well did you know the owners of the racetrack, Jerry? Leonard and Jerry and
right.
Don and Lloyd?
Just to see them, really. Not me and Jerry Frank are like that. We're the best. I sponsored Chubb.
Yeah, I knew that.
Matter of fact, Emery Ann asked me, or we were sitting around a campfire one night at the races, and Jerry Frank, we were talking about Stateline when it opened up. And Jerry said the first night they opened up, it was everybody got stuck in the field. They had to pull them out. Did you talk to Jerry?
Yeah.
And he said they had to pay out come down to change to pay. And Jerry said, I don't know. He said, Emery man, he said, if we ever finished paying him, if he got all his money or not. So I seen Emery a couple of weeks later. Hey, Emery, I said, Jerry Frank can't remember if he ever. Oh, yeah, he said, he paid us off. He said, he was a good egg, that Emery boy. I really miss him.
Yeah.
They asked him why he quit racing up there, you know, after he hadn't showed up for a few years. He said, well, they wouldn't wait up for me anymore. He showed up at Stateline about a couple of years ago, him and his wife, and it was a real cold night. He had a little leather coat on. He was sitting, and he hadn't been to races in years. And boy, these late models, people are amazed now that, you know, haven't been to races and seen how these cars go, you know. And I said, what do you think of these cars now? Bro, there he said. He was really impressed with them. But he didn't stay long. It was getting colder and colder. And he wasn't dressed right for the races.
Well, was he a mentor to you as you were starting? Did you?
Yeah, I always liked that number 8 ball. You know. I don't know why nobody else ever picked that number up. Maybe he had a patent on it or something. Yeah, he's straight 8, you know, way back. And like say this Buckwheat Beckwith, I kind of knew him. He tried to run the straight 8, you know. Matter of fact, we built a car with a straight 8 in it, but I don't even talk about that. That was a total disaster. Yeah, he still had straight 8 in the mind, you know, and everybody else was running 292s and 306, you know, Fords. And
you were teammates with Kenny Shear for a while, right?
Yeah, Guy owned his car.
Yeah, what can you tell us about Kenny?
Kenny's, he's a good driver. I mean, he went to Clearfield one night. We started running at Clearfield. And it's big half mile. I mean, big half mile. And you had the Hemi in your car then, Guy? Was the Hemi in that Cuda?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Guy kept telling Kenny, don't get up too high, don't get up too high, and 3 and 4. Well, Kenny got up too high, didn't he? Got on top of the fence, and it was at night. And I wasn't in the race, I was in the next one or something. It must have been the heat race, and he lit the whole corner of that track up. Got up on top and just about cut the car in two, didn't it? Started right at the Mark Balancer and went right back across
my gosh.
Wow.
That was that Cuda, right? Okay. The Roadrunner, Cuda.
That's something.
Yeah, that was fast. That track was fast. I mean, it was half mile. You know, they
3 or 4
sailed.
turn, you can only run the inside. If you got on the outside, it sucked you right over the
Yeah,
There's lots of room up there.
yeah.
He kept falling.
Carry some speed.
Faster. He said, if I get up there, I can pass those guys. I can keep hitting the brakes. And I'm going to try it. So
Yeah, he did.
You're right into that rail and right up on that rail, rode it sideways. You did the same damn thing.
Well, I broke a ball joint.
You hit it and then broke the ball joint.
Yeah.
Jerry, let me show you some pictures of some guys that you may have raced against in your career, and if you just have, you know, something that comes into your mind when you see that picture, just go ahead and say it.
Sammy, or Johnny Whitehead, yeah. Like I say, he meant business when he raced. You know, it looked like he did. Or Sammy Lamcuso. Jim Scott. We built a go-kart track out here years ago, and he brought Dave out. And that's where Dave came from our go-kart track. He's done well. Dave done real well. Tom Dill, told you about him.
Yep.
I never seen a gun, but
you heard he had a gun. You mean he had the gun with him when he was racing?
I don't know about it. This guy I don't remember. Bobby Snowers. He was the king, huh?
Why was he the king, Jerry?
He always went to the front, you know. It just
But why? But what was his
He just
secret?
had something extra. If you ever watched him, he just seemed to shove it in the corner a little harder. And I tried that too, but it didn't stay. Then it looped, you know.
It didn't look like he was going fast.
No, they had all kinds of rumors out. They had a motor running, it was a marine motor or something, running backwards. Did they? That was for sure then, huh? I'll be darned. Bobby's son's still racing, don't he? There's his son, Tom, yeah. I've heard this man's name, but I can't remember racing against him.
It's more on the backside if you want to flip it over.
Floyd Rinaldi.
What do you know about him?
You see him every Thursday at Corey Auction. He's threatened to bring his car out. My brother-in-law's with me, and he says, Floyd, maybe you better leave it home.
We had heard that he wasn't necessarily the most pleasant guy in the pit. Sorry.
I never had no problems with him, but he's hot-tempered. He's gotten a few scuffles up at court. You know, he gets.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, the guy didn't do him right one day, and I think he knocked him down or something. He's hot-tempered. Yeah. Johnny Whitehead. Yeah. Johnny Ditch. Squirt John. Chuck Piazza. Freddie Knapp. Yep. Ford man. Drove Ford all the time. Mustang. All these guys. Well, Freddie's gone, isn't he? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Floyd.
These are about from '65 when these photos were taken, but obviously some of these guys had longer careers, and you probably raced against them.
You're right. Yeah. Floyd Thomas, I can't remember him, but
he was probably retired before you got there.
yeah. Johnny Ditch, I've heard the name, but he's same thing there.
Jerry, take a look at this picture. There's a couple of, just a few people we aren't sure of. This man here next to Squirt. Do you have any idea who that might be?
Boy, you don't look familiar.
No?
Stand beside Squirt John there.
And then the last three guys in the top row, we aren't sure of those either.
There's Kenny on the end.
Yeah?
Boy, Kenny's young. Boy, he's young. Yeah, Richard.
Looks about 12 years old.
Yeah, look at that. He's really young.
Last three guys in the top row, Guy. You have any idea?
No.
And if you did, you get an autographed picture from Randy Anderson.
Yeah. I'll be eternally
Forrest
great.
Floyd, but
Okay.
Yeah, I hear some stories from Jerry Frank about that racetrack. We sat around the fight. We go to the late models. Well, I've sponsored Chubb, and we go to a lot of races. He's an interesting guy.
Jerry?
Oh,
he's great.
Yeah, he remembers stuff. And
We had a chance to talk to not only Jerry, interviewed Jerry, but Don as well, his older brother.
Yeah, Don's getting a little
And Marv Thorpe,
shaky. Marv Thorpe.
who was one of the original owners.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been able to get an audio interview that was done with Leonard Briggs a few years ago.
Oh yeah, Leonard passed away though.
Passed away, yep. And we didn't, so somebody actually interviewed him about that, and so we're looking forward to getting that, as well as an interview they did with Emery Mann. Now, unfortunately, we started this project, Randy had conversations with Emery, we were all set to go, and of course, we knew he had cancer, but he was in remission, or at least he had under control. And then, boom.
Yeah, he went quick.
Went very quick.
about Hellman.
No,
Hellman is still alive.
He was up here this summer.
Yes, he was. Yep.
I'm going to stop and see him on that.
He's in, I think he lives like in Daytona, maybe, Guy? And we hope to catch him next summer when he comes back up through.
He used to be in Melbourne and Cocoa Beach.
Oh, is that where it was?
You got a story about him, don't you, the harmonic balancer? Yeah.
Not yet anyway, until we put the mic on.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't tell it yet, Guy. We'll get you mic'd up. Should we switch the mic over to Guy?
By any relation to Phil Nystrom, Jerry?
No, none. He had money, was the only difference.
No, that's what he said about you.